Carlos Manzo Rodriguez. A name now synonymous with both hope and controversy in the heart of Mexico. He is the municipal president of Uruapan, Michoacán, a region renowned for its rich agricultural output and vibrant culture. But Uruapan is also a city marked by both agricultural wealth and deep security challenges, a duality that shapes every aspect of life within its borders. The lucrative avocado industry, while a boon to the economy, has also attracted unwanted attention. In recent months, Manzo has become a lightning rod for national debate, his actions and policies scrutinized under the intense glare of the media spotlight. His leadership style sparking strong reactions across Mexico, igniting passionate discussions in homes, workplaces, and political arenas. The nation is divided on whether his methods are justified. His bold decisions and public statements have drawn both praise and criticism, turning him into a figure of intense public interest. Every word he utters, every action he takes, is dissected and debated. This has making him a symbol of a controversial approach to governance, a test case for how far a leader can go in the name of public safety and order. Supporters hail him as a decisive leader willing to take tough measures in the face of crisis, a man who is not afraid to make difficult choices for the greater good. They see him as a shield against the chaos that threatens to engulf their city. Critics, including human rights groups and political opponents, question the legality and ethics of his policies, raising concerns about potential abuses of power and the erosion of civil liberties. The debate centers on whether extraordinary times justify extraordinary measures, if the urgency of the situation warrants a departure from established norms and protocols, or if the rule of law must always prevail, regardless of the circumstances, to safeguard the fundamental rights and freedoms of all citizens. Manzo's actions force a national reflection on security, justice, and the limits of authority, prompting a deep examination of the values and principles that underpin Mexican society. This script will explore the key events that thrust him into the spotlight, the decisions he made, and the wide range of reactions they've provoked from different segments of society. The goal, to provide a clear, objective overview so viewers can form their own opinions about this polarizing figure, separating fact from fiction, and presenting a balanced perspective on a complex and multifaceted issue. Uruapan, the world capital of avocado, a city nestled in the heart of Michoacán, is renowned for its lush avocado orchards that stretch as far as the eye can see. It stands as a vital economic engine, not only for the state of Michoacán, but for the entire nation of Mexico. The city's bustling commerce and vibrant markets are testaments to its economic significance. Yet this prosperity is tragically overshadowed by persistent violence, a dark cloud that hangs heavy over the city. The presence of organized crime, with its insidious reach, casts a long shadow. Extortion, a crippling burden on local businesses, stifles economic growth and breeds fear. And sudden, unpredictable eruptions of brutality shatter the peace, leaving residents in a state of constant anxiety. Residents live with constant fear, their daily lives marked by caution and apprehension. And local authorities, including Manzo's dedicated police force, find themselves on the front lines of this battle. They face immense pressure to restore order and reclaim the streets from the grip of violence. The roots of Uruapan's insecurity run deep, intertwined with complex social and economic factors. These include socio-economic struggles, the stark inequalities that plague many communities, and the relentless criminal turf wars that fuel the violence. This challenging climate shapes the expectations placed on leaders like Manzo, who are tasked with finding solutions to these deeply entrenched problems. It fuels demands for drastic action, as citizens grow increasingly desperate for safety and security. Supporters argue that the city's dire circumstances justify his tough stance, believing that strong measures are necessary to combat the escalating violence. Critics, however, insist that even in times of crisis, fundamental principles must be upheld. They argue that the rule of law and the protection of human rights must not be sacrificed in the pursuit of security. The city's struggles are central to understanding the complexities of Mexico's security challenges, and they are also key to understanding the national debate surrounding Manzo's controversial leadership. His decisions resonate far beyond the borders of Uruapan, impacting the broader landscape of Mexican politics and society, raising fundamental questions about the delicate balance between security and justice, a balance that defines the very essence of a free and democratic society. The stakes are high. The future of Uruapan hangs in the balance. not just for Uruapan, but for Mexico's overall approach to governance and its ability to uphold the principles of justice and security for all its citizens. In October 2024, the murder of journalist Mauricio Solis Cruz shocked Mexico. Solis Cruz was killed just after interviewing Mayor Manzo, raising urgent questions about press safety and the city's volatile climate. The journalist had been covering sensitive local issues, making his assassination a chilling reminder of the dangers faced by reporters. The proximity to Manzo intensified scrutiny on the mayor's rhetoric and his administration's ability to protect the press. Outrage erupted among journalists and human rights advocates, who demanded a thorough investigation and better protections. The killing became a flashpoint in the tense relationship between Manzo and the media. It underscored the risks journalists face in regions plagued by violence, and the responsibility of leaders to ensure their safety. The tragedy cast a long shadow over Manzo's administration and fueled the national debate about his leadership. In the immediate aftermath of Solis Cruz's shocking murder, the community reeled from the loss and the implications it held for the safety of journalists in Uruapan. Mayor Manzo, facing mounting pressure and public scrutiny, publicly distanced himself from any responsibility for the journalist's death. He went on the offensive, claiming that his political enemies were cynically exploiting the tragedy to undermine his administration and destabilize the region. He attempted to downplay the severity of the crisis, arguing that Uruapan's history of violence predated his term in office by many years, suggesting it was a long-standing issue beyond his immediate control. He further asserted that the violence was not a direct result of his policies or any actions taken during his administration. Adding fuel to the fire, Manzo made controversial remarks about journalists, publicly calling some of them chayoteros, a derogatory term implying they were paid for favorable coverage, and others corruptos, directly accusing them of engaging in unethical and illegal practices. These accusations ignited a fierce backlash from media organizations and human rights groups, who condemned his words as dangerous and irresponsible. Critics were quick to warn that such inflammatory rhetoric could incite further aggression and violence against members of the press, who were already operating in a highly vulnerable environment. They argued that his words would only serve to foster a climate of distrust and animosity between the government, the media, and the public. Despite the widespread condemnation, Manzo insisted that his words were not intended to be hateful or insightful, but many saw them as deeply irresponsible, dangerous, and a blatant attempt to deflect blame. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, state authorities, led by Governor Alfredo Ramirez Bedolla, responded swiftly by launching a coordinated operation involving multiple law enforcement agencies. This operation included the deployment of federal forces to Uruapan to assist in the investigation of the murder and ensure a thorough and impartial inquiry. This move highlighted growing concerns about the overall effectiveness and reliability of Manzo's local police force in maintaining law and order. The entire episode deepened existing tensions between Manzo, the press, and even higher levels of government, creating a complex web of political conflict. It also raised serious questions about the mayor's true commitment to upholding press freedom, ensuring public accountability, and safeguarding the fundamental principles of democratic institutions. In May 2025, Manzo escalated controversy by publicly instructing Uruapan's police to use lethal force against armed criminals resisting arrest. This directive, issued after the murder of a city employee, was unprecedented for a municipal leader and quickly drew national attention. Supporters saw it as a necessary response to rampant crime. Critics called it a dangerous abuse of authority that risked extrajudicial violence. The order became a symbol of the broader debate over how far leaders should go to restore security. Manzo's stance forced Mexico to confront the tension between public safety and the rule of law. Manzo's lethal force directive drew swift condemnation from state and federal leaders. Governor Ramirez Bedolla urged calm and strict adherence to legal protocols, emphasizing that decisive action must always be grounded in the law. President Claudia Sheinbaum unequivocally rejected Manzo's approach, reminding the nation that Mexico is a state of law and that security strategies must respect constitutional rights. Both leaders stressed that solutions to Uruapan's crisis must remain within legal boundaries. Their unified response isolated Manzo and underscored a national consensus against his methods. The episode highlighted the rift between municipal, state, and federal approaches to security. It also reinforced the principle that public safety cannot come at the expense of human rights. The controversy became a test of Mexico's commitment to democratic norms. Confronted by criticism from the governor and president, Manzo doubled down, challenging federal authorities to solve Uruapan's security crisis themselves. He dared President Sheinbaum to send Security Secretary Omar Garcia Harfuch to Uruapan, vowing to step aside if they could restore order without force. This defiant stance further polarized opinion, with supporters seeing Manzo as a bold defender of his city, and critics viewing him as reckless and dismissive of the law. The challenge was both a plea for help and a rhetorical move to highlight the severity of Uruapan's problems. Manzo's refusal to back down solidified his image as a polarizing figure. The confrontation exposed deep divisions in Mexico's security strategy. It also raised questions about the limits of local authority in the face of national policy. The standoff became a symbol of the broader struggle over how to address violence in Mexico. Carlos Manzo's actions have split public opinion. Some see him as a pragmatic leader taking necessary steps to protect his city, frustrated by the failures of traditional security measures. Supporters believe he's a victim of political attacks, willing to challenge the status quo and confront organized crime. Critics, including human rights advocates and journalists, warn that his policies threaten the rule of law and risk sliding toward authoritarianism. The debate over Manzo reflects Mexico's larger struggle with crime, justice, and the boundaries of authority. He has become a litmus test for competing visions of security and democracy. The question remains, is he a hero defending his people, or a danger to democratic principles? The Carlos Manzo case has ignited a national conversation about balancing urgent security needs with human rights and the rule of law. His controversial decisions have forced Mexico to reflect on leadership responsibilities in times of crisis. Strong reactions from state and federal authorities underscore the importance of legal boundaries and press freedom. Manzo's rhetoric toward the media has heightened concerns about journalist safety and government accountability. The saga highlights the need for collaboration between all levels of government, grounded in democratic principles. Effective solutions require decisive action and unwavering commitment to justice. The debate over Manzo's leadership will shape Mexico's future governance and security.